guys, it's Amber, and I am getting ready to work on day 3. So it definitely looks different from a normal day in December daily. I went to a baseball card show. I just want to turn this photo out here real quick. So I met a former Philadelphia Phillies player, and he's also one of the co-announcers for quite a few of the games, John Kruk. So if you've ever heard of him, that's who I went to see. So I've got a little ticket here for when I was there. So I was thinking about trying to figure out a way to attach that. So what I'm going to do is, this is the logo for the event. I'm going to cut this out. I was trying to set it up on my silhouette, and I was really struggling to try to get this the right size. And then I was trying to flip it and get the journaling in the right size. It was becoming too stressful. I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this old school. I'm going to trim it. Go flip this over, trim it out. So the journaling is sized to go inside of there on the back. And what I think I'm going to try to do is put it on like a transparency. Not sure which one yet, so I'm just grabbing one from my stash real quick. And in order to make this not be only a 6x8, because it's going to be hidden behind a 6x8 pocket from day 2, I'm thinking about maybe adding a little strip of pattern paper here, just to make it a little bit wider. It'll also give me a little bit of a place to tuck my ticket, maybe like to help combine the two. So I would have like a transparency with the logo kind of like this. I'm still not sure where exactly my number is going to go yet. It might put a 3, like a chipboard, like right here. And then when you flip it, the journaling would be in the back in the shape of this cutout. So really simple, easy. I just need to construct it. And then I'm also, because I can plan ahead for the back, I know that day 4 I want to just do like a big photo. I'll also have like my medical bracelet on there, with a photo of the CT scan that I had to have on day 4. So that'll just be a photo with some journaling and be really simple. But this was just kind of a fun way. And I wanted to include the logo, but I wasn't really sure exactly how to do it. So I had just like downloaded a photo of it, and there's more details and information. I just isolated it. This was empty right here, so I just added the 2023. So it didn't look too empty, and I'm actually kind of excited to see how it comes out. And I just need to trim it basically, and thinking about doing some stitching right here. I know I always say I'm going to do stitching and then I forget to, but that's my plan, and I'm going to get started. So I'm just kind of leaving a little bit of this footage in here. Most of this I cropped out, and I'm not even really working with this piece, but basically what I tried to do was paperclip the front and back of these together so I could trim this out in the reverse shape of this graphic that I created. The first one I did wrong. I had it facing the same direction, as you can see there at the top. And then the second one, while it worked fine, the font was a little too big because I had reprinted it larger. And I was getting a lot of weird edges where the scissors would snip down, and then I would get like a white rip almost. So just wasn't really thrilled with it. Kind of messed with it a few times, and I'll explain later in the video more about it. But you can see I'm just kind of checking it out, seeing how lined up it is, and I'm just going to keep moving on with the project and come back to this later. Okay guys, so I've got my photo and the pattern paper mounted together here. I just used some double-sided adhesive. I decided for the stitching to try to make it look like baseball stitching. So I took my paper piercer and I ran a line of holes right along the seam, and then at an angle next to them I ran a line up each side. I tried not to make them exactly even, because from pictures that I looked up online, baseball seams are not perfectly even. So I don't know if you can see the holes there, or if maybe on the back you can see them a little bit better. So I've got a needle and some red thread here, even though I know it's going to be hard to see. Baseball seams are red, so I figured I would stick with that color. I cut off a piece and I decided to divide it. I figured 3 strands would look pretty good. We'll see how that looks. I could always go more if I think it needs more. But I think what I'm going to do is just like, I think I might start at the top and just start like weaving my way down and just do both sides at the same time. I was debating if I should do like one side and then the other. We'll see what comes more naturally and how it looks coming in and out of that center hole. So I'm going to start working on getting all of this stitched, and I will show you what it looks like in close up when I'm done. Okay guys, I'm all done with my stitching. Just trying to show you a nice close up here. I think it came out pretty well. I had definitely a whoops here with some hole punching where I got a little off, like these got a little too low. It's not perfect, no one's ever gonna notice it, and honestly my little ticket that I have is probably gonna cover it, because I thought about even not stitching right there, or maybe I should put it over here more so that I don't cover the stitching and it looks a little bit more balanced, because before I was trying to find a way to tie the two pages together, but now that they're stitching, maybe that's what I'll do, and I'll just put the ticket right there. Show you guys is that I printed a different transparency. I was struggling with which one to use. I had considered the striped one that's in the specialty paper pack from 2023. It's gold and silver, but I didn't love it. I looked into, sorry, I'm trying to put that put away. Stars, which I had shown you before. I didn't love the stars. It was a little too busy. And I also even looked at the polka dot Swiss dot vellum, which I did not hate, but I always worry a little bit about putting vellum in an album, especially early. Like I'm worried about it getting a little bit warped. So I grabbed my Octago inkjet transparency film. It's super clear, prints out really well. It does have a printer side, but it tells you on the paper, so it'll say printable side to space up in this package. So I make sure that I pull it out and stick it right in the printer immediately so I don't mess it up. But I printed out, I should say, I wanted to use this, okay? And you can see how good it looks compared to the real thing. It's flimsier for sure. It's not as rigid, but I wanted to be able to do a full size 8.5 by 11. So I took the 3 by 8 digital transparencies and I tripled it. There was a few that I erased in the middle for the stars so that they weren't like half cut off stars. And there's a couple that kind of are a little close to overlapping. I was okay with that. But I think it looks fantastic. And like when you see them side by side, like the color is pretty good. So I'm happy with that. So I'm going to be trimming that down to cover up this part. The Philly baseball show is going to go on top here. And now that I'm seeing this, I think I'm fine with that little ticket being right there. I'm going to figure out a 3. I haven't even touched that yet. And then you guys, this was an adventure. I had to remake this like 4 times. So the first time I accidentally cut it out with it going the wrong way. That was this version. And then the second time I was just really unhappy with how it looked. I'm trying to see if those versions are in the trash. So I think I reprinted this thing like 5 times and I'm really not happy about that, but I could have printed red card. I could have just used red cardstock, but I knew it'd be too thick to cut these really tiny holes in all these little grooves. But the first time I cut it wrong. The second time I realized that I printed it too big or I didn't like the color, right? So I made it a different color red. And then I realized that the font was too big when I cut it out. So I finished cutting it just to see, but I didn't like how close it was to the edges here. So then I decided, okay, I'll trace it. I'll do all red, and then I'll cut this out and just place it on top. Well, guess who cut it out backwards? This girl. I don't know what I was thinking, but it was rough. I printed it 5 times and I cut it out 4 times, but finally we are there. So I'm going to be mounting this to this side. I'm going to be using one of the tabs from this year's set. I think I'm going to do the Worth It or the Captured. I think these are all the same on this side. Yeah, I think Captured, because Worth It, like, kind of weird. But and then on the back here, then I can mount that, and then I'm going to just mount my journaling right on top. It was just the only way that I could get it that small and get it centered like I wanted to, and I'm going to be happy with it. At the original printing, I tried to print a darker red to match this, which I liked, but then I didn't like how it didn't match me. So I was trying to pull back in more of that red. So this red is from my sweater that I'm wearing here. And I wanted it to be a brighter Phillies color, because this doesn't show anything about Phillies, but you know, it's going to be what it is going to be. So let me get this little ticket mounted down here. I've decided now that it is going to just go right here, which is awesome and fine. And then I will figure out, I think I'm going to use a combination of sticky tape in the middle of that graphic that I created and rolling adhesive along the edges, because it's not really possible to go right here just like that. That's white center. I like that because I was worried, hey, maybe I should have put his name on there, but then I realized it'd be here and in my journal. So I'm good with that. But yeah, like to get these tiny little edges, I think I'll do rolling adhesive along the edge and then like some strips of double-sided adhesive on that side. So I'm just going to get this trimmed off camera, find number 3, add the tab, and we're going to be finished. Okay guys, I'm all finished here. I ended up going with just a plain white chipboard 3 here and added a tab from one of these sets. These are super old, like maybe 5 or 6 years. But I didn't necessarily go with something Christmassy because it wasn't a Christmassy story, so I just went with today's story. And I wanted something that had more red in it to pull in all the red instead of the white and gold. So I figured I would save that for something else. But I really like how this came out. I think it's just fun. It's a little different from things that I normally do. And I just love being able to use that little ticket on there. And it's just fun. So I'm really, really happy with how that came out. And I do want to show you what it looks like popped into the album here. And it's going to be like red, red, red because it's right next to this red pocket, but that's okay. So, looks good. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon for day 4. Bye for now.